Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is navigate to my historical financials over here. And I'm gonna hold down Control and then right click and click on Move or Copy. I'll check off that Create a Copy box, and we're gonna bring that into our financial model over here. And I'll just bring it till the end as such. Perfect. Okay, so now I have my source documents for my income statement and balance sheet. So I'm gonna just rename this over here, income statement underscore source, and I'll do the same thing for the balance sheet. Okay, and now I'm gonna create a drivers tab, which is going to pull in this information. So I'm gonna duplicate over here, and I'm gonna put that right before this template tab, and I will rename this drivers. Okay, now I'm gonna keep all of this information over here. I'm just gonna hide it because I don't necessarily need it for now. And let's get the accounts into our income statement. So let me actually go back to the drivers, and I will call this income statement. And now I'm gonna go to my income statement source, and I will just copy all of the information that I have over here. Okay, and let's just extend this as such. Perfect. All right, now that I have all of my income statement accounts, let me just group all of this information, Alt-A-G, and then I'm gonna take this, I'll add a little bit of a padding, and I'm gonna call this now balance sheet. All right, let's freeze the panes on the top. And for the balance sheet, I'm gonna take my source, and I'm just gonna paste the values by hitting Alt-HVV. I don't want the formatting to copy over. Okay, so now I have all the accounts on my income statement and all the accounts on my balance sheet. Now I wanna get the data from this source into the drivers tab so that I can see all the historical information, and eventually I'll also be able to see all of the projections starting in 2025. So in order to do that, let's first just clean up this tab. So I'm gonna take all of the subtotal rows for each of our sections as such, and I am just going to hold down Control, and we're gonna get rid of those. And I'm gonna actually just hit the delete button so that I create a buffer in between each section. And let's now expand this section over here. And I wanna now take the actual header row, and I wanna style that for each section. So I'm just gonna copy and paste the formatting, Alt-HVR as such. And let's just take this and copy and paste it over here so that revenue then shows accordingly. Okay, and I am going to copy and paste the formatting into this cell as well, so that if I come here and hit Alt-HVR, I could then just bring the information over for each one as such. And I'll just continue hitting Alt-HVR. Let's add a new buffer over here. And I'm just gonna continue hitting Alt-HVR. Now these I actually don't need, so I'm gonna hit Control and minus to delete. And once again, I will come down to this section, Alt-HVR, and then let's add another column. Let's copy the formatting here and the formatting over here. And then finally, net other income, and with a space buffer, Alt-HVR once more. Okay, I'm just gonna really quickly now copy and paste this information to the left. Perfect. Okay, so now that I have all the information, I'm ready to start bringing in the values from this source. So I'm just gonna use a basic sum ifs, and I'm gonna sum ifs on January 2023 if the value in column B is equal to the information over here. And I'm just gonna lock the column so that I could drag it to the right. Okay, I am going to then click the comma, and I will format down as such. All right, now I'm just gonna copy and paste this information downwards, and I'll hold down Shift and copy and paste that downwards. Let's do the same thing over here and over here. Perfect. All right, now in order to finish the build for our income statement, I need to do two things. First, I need to create this sum. And this sum is also gonna be as such, and I'm gonna then take this minus this. All right, let's take a sum of all the information over here, and let's then take our gross profit minus our expenses as such. And then for other income is going to be a sum, and for other expenses is also going to be a sum. Finally, net other income is going to be other income minus other expenses. And then net income is simply going to be net other income, or rather net operating income plus net income as such. And it looks like I just forgot to copy this to the left as such. Okay, so now that I have all of these values here, I can just hold down Shift, Control C, go all the way to my last month of actuals, which is going to be December 2024. And as you can see, all of the information copied over. Now, just to make sure, we're going to set up an error check shortly. But for now, it looks like everything is good to go. So I'm just going to hit the 2. I want to now do the same thing for each of these sections for our annual and quarterly. And that's going to be really easy. All I need to do is hold down Control Shift, copy this over here, which is from our template, and then Control V. And I'm just going to do that on the sub accounts. And then for all of the calculated rows, I am going to just take that and copy it as such. And I'm just going to speed up as I do that part. Okay, so now I have my income statement pulled into my drivers tab. I can see things on an annual, quarterly, and monthly basis, and it goes all the way down as such.